Hey, this is Taylor Mathis from Taylor Takes a Taste, and today I'm going to show you how to create a diptych. A diptych is when you have two images next to each other. I do this a lot on my blog, a lot of the layouts you've seen, two images next to each other, so I'll show you how to make it. I'm using Adobe Photoshop Elements 10. It's about $100 and it's a great software for those of you who don't want to make the full investment in Photoshop. So here we go, let's start out. The first thing you need to know is the size of the image you're going to be working with. On my blog, my pictures are 900 by 600. So I'm going to create a new file here, a new blank file, and I'm going to make it 900 by 600. And since I'm working in the web, I want to keep it resolution at 72 and do OK. So here I have a white box. This is going to be where we're going to put our diptych in. And if you read earlier in the post, you need to know how big your borders want to be. So again, I did the math and I figured out that I want my borders to be 45 on one side and 30 on the other. So the images are going to be in an 810 by 540 box. So let's make that box now. So again, I'm going to go File, New Blank File, and now I'm going to make this one 810 by 540. And so I can tell apart, I'm going to paint it blue. Click Paint, then click Blue. So now I click back to my 900 by 600, and I drag the 810 by 540 on there. And now my blue is on there. So this is going to be our diptych in here, and then around here is going to be the border you see. To make sure it's centered, I'm going to click both layers, click on the little mover icon, then go to Align by vertical centers and horizontal centers. So now this is centered on there. And now what I'm going to do is make sure that my rulers are showing. So this is what yours might look like. If you go into View and turn your rulers on, you now see these rulers on the top and the bottom. So what you do is you're going to drag the top down to here and drag the top down to the bottom. And you'll see these fluorescent blue lines, and then you go to the other side again, and now if we take away our blue layer, we have a frame. So now we've framed out our diptych, and all we have to do is resize our two images and drag and drop them in place. Let's do that now. So I'm going to open my diptychs here, labeled diptych 1, diptych 2. So diptych 1 is going to be the peanuts after. So here's our first image on our diptych. We have to resize this now. So to do that, you go to Image, Resize, Image Size. Now you have to make sure that Resample Image, you have to make sure this is checked on. This allows you to change your width and your height. And I know since the height of my frame is 540, I need to make the height of my image 540. And since we have scale styles and constrained proportions on, it's going to make our width 360. So hit OK, and now it's resized this. So if we click back to our 900 by 600, and then we drag this up, it brings it in. And since we've made this frame here, we know exactly where it needs to go. So we just drag it over to the edges of the lines. There we go. Now I've got one half of our diptych. Now I did our first picture. So let's go File, Open, grab our next diptych image, and we do the same thing. We need to resize it as well. So we go up to Image, Resize, Image Size. Again, make sure that these are all checked. And up here, we're going to make it again 540. And that'll change the width to 360. Hit OK. It's resized. So we'll go back to our 900 by 600. Drag this up. And there we go. And then now we drag it over to the other corners. And there's our diptych. We've got these two images. They've got an equal border around it. It's pleasing the eye. And when you save it, these rulers don't get saved, so don't worry. So then to save our file, we go File, Save As, call it whatever you want. I'll call it Peanuts Final. And then I'm going to save it as a JPEG. Save it in the folder. And there we go. It is saved. Saving. Alright, now to see our final diptych, let's look at it, open it up, and there we go. There's your diptych.